Celtics at the Cavaliers. Celtics laying 8.5. Celtics minus 375. The Cavs are plus 290. Your total is 205.5, Chelsea. That is way down from 208.5. So money piling in on the under. The Celtics lead the series 2-1 after winning game 3, going away. So you back on Boston here, or does that scare you away because of the point spread?
I think a lot of this has to do with the status of Donovan Mitchell, because right now Donovan Mitchell is questionable with a calf strain, I believe. He is their scoring punch. He has scored 30 plus, I believe, in every game of this series. And even going back to the Magic series, he's been their leading scorer. So if you take him out of the equation, this is already a team that's a little banged up. Jared Allen, not in this game, or is it Evan Mobley? I always get those two mixed up. But bottom line, the Cavs are kind of hobbled going into this one, and Donovan Mitchell is their guy. You need every single weapon available if you're going against the scoring punch that is the Boston Celtics. And if you're worried about this number being too large, well, the Celtics, when they beat teams, they really beat them. They had the average scoring margin that had the biggest average scoring margin of any team in the NBA, beating teams by an average of 11.5 points per game this regular season. And we've seen it in the postseason, too. Everyone in this series has been by more than 10 points. So I feel like it's going to be a lot for the Cavs to overcome if Donovan Mitchell even plays in this game. He's not 100%. So I'd be on the Celtics laying the 8.5.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to go. Doesn't this series feel exactly the way the Heat series did? Where, okay, the Celtics give away game 2 on their home court, and then they dominate the rest of the way. That's kind of how I feel like it's going to go. And I see why this total is going down, why it's moved 3 points, because when you look at the Celtics, it's their defense that made a difference in game 3. And it was Jaylen Brown saying as much after the game. He said, look, we've got to play great defense. Our goal going into this game was to hold this Cavaliers team below 100 points. We did that. I think that's where their focus is right now. And they are just fine with Donovan Mitchell getting his. And Donovan Mitchell's banged up anyway. So it looked like he was bothered by his knee injury at the end of game 3. And he's the only guy who has provided a consistent scoring threat for this Cavaliers team, because Jared Allen is out of the lineup. They could really use him. He just has not been able to go after suffering what I believe was a rib injury. So if you've got a potentially banged up Donovan Mitchell and your guys aren't contributing anyway, and you've got a Celtics team that lost that game 2 like they did against the Heat and then just blew out Miami the rest of the series, I kind of feel like that's how the rest of this series is going to go, especially after what we saw in game 3. So I would lay it with Boston.
Yeah, well, we don't even know if Donovan Mitchell's going to play.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest question. Like, we don't even know if he's going to be out there at all. So I think until you know if Donovan Mitchell is playing, it's really hard to bet this one. Because like I said, he is the single most important weapon for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I would lean towards the Celtics regardless.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Let's go Boston tonight to take care of business and cover the number in Cleveland. All right, let's go to the Western Conference now. The Mavs lead this series in the Western Conference semifinals against the Thunder, 2-1. Mavericks are laying 1.5 tonight in Big D. The Mavericks are minus 115. Your total is plus 105. The total is 213.5. That has come down from 214.5. Chelsea, I don't know who's going to win this series. I don't know who's going to win tonight, but do you have at least a lean?
I think I would lean towards Dallas at home, just simply because we haven't even seen the best of Luka Doncic. During the postseason, he has not been good so far this season. Like, you still see the points there. He's averaging 27, which seems good. But for somebody who averaged 33 during the regular season and was shooting at a much higher clip, during the postseason, he's shooting 26% from the three-point line. That is not good for somebody who's shooting 38% for their regular season. We know he is incredibly banged up. He said everything hurt after last game, so maybe that goes into it as well. He's not 100%, but I think this game is one down low. And this is where the Mavericks have really been feasting, is in the rebounding and the second chance points in this game. Last game, we saw it. They outscored the Thunder in the paint 52-38. So I think that's where the Mavs did a really good thing in getting guys like Daniel Gafford to shore up their post play. And meanwhile, the Thunder, this has been their weakness all season long. Even if SGA gets a ton of rebounds, you still need somebody down low that's going to be pulling in those boards. And I will say, Luka, at least when he's not scoring, he's at least rebounding. Had 15 boards last game. Still think it's the Mavericks, even if it's not Luka, it's Kyrie Irving, who we know is one of the best shooters in the NBA when he is dialed in. PJ Washington has been incredible, but maybe that's where some regression is looming for the Mavs. PJ Washington has played like an absolute all-star, scoring over 20 points per game in each of these games, or each of the last 2 games, I should say. Maybe there's some regression looming because I don't think he's somebody who's going to score that many points every single game. He's made at least 5 threes in each of the last 2 games. So maybe some regression looming, but I still think it's the Mavericks who win this game in a close one at home.
Yeah, I think PJ Washington is the key here, or at least containing PJ Washington, because 56 points over 2 games. You talk about a guy that has just haunted the Thunder during Game 2 and Game 3. And I think we're going to see an Oklahoma defense really clamp down on him because, fine, Luka can get his, Kyrie's going to get his. He was much better than he has been early in this series. Had a great floater down the lane that really put this game away in Game 3. But I don't know if P.J. Washington continuing to score at this clip is sustainable. And again, Oklahoma City had, I believe, the 3rd best defense in the NBA during the regular season. I think they clamped down on him. And you mentioned Luka being banged up. I don't even know what's wrong with Luka at this point. He's always sort of banged up, could be a knee. I think he has mumps now, maybe rickets, something. Luka is always kind of limping around, and I give him a hard, I believe him, Chelsea, but it makes it hard to handicap how healthy he is because he will miss a game every now and then during the regular season. But since he's always kind of fighting something, I never know how much he's leaning into that, and I never know how much he's truly injured. But it seems like watching him, especially when you're talking about a playoff series, when the grind of a series can get to you like it did against the Knicks, against the Pacers yesterday, then I think this could be that night where at least being banged up or having a few things tweaked comes back to sort of haunt the Mavericks a little bit. I think the Thunder on the money line is going to be my call tonight. They lock down on P.J. Washington. Dallas kind of hits a wall because they are banged up, and we go back to Oklahoma City with the series tied at 2. So I'm going to go Thunder, money line, plus 105. Not crazy about it, but that's where I would lean. Nuggets upsetting the T-Wolves 115-107. The Nuggets getting 3.5 points. They're plus 145 on the money line. Total set at 206. So now this series tied up at 2. Nikola Jokic, 35 points, scores 16 in the fourth quarter. Aaron Gordon, 27 points, goes 11 of 12 from the field. And Jamal Murray with 19, including that shot from beyond half court right before halftime where he stared down Kevin Harlan, of all people. I don't know what that was about. It was so weird. Oh, he's staring down Kevin Harlan. I don't know what. I guess Kevin Harlan was right there. But they overcome another fantastic performance from Ant Edwards, who explodes for 44 points. Nuggets get 8 points in the final 20 seconds of the first half. Don't look back from there. And this was a world-class response from the defending world champions. When they were down 0-2 and this series shifts back to Minneapolis, it looked like everything was going the Timberwolves' way, and now they're realizing, oh, yeah, there's a reason why these guys are the current champs.
Yeah, there was some fight left in this dog, especially when this dog has a guy named Nikola Jokic who can absolutely dominate in the fourth quarter. But there are some anomalies here that maybe are not going to be the same moving forward, because I think that's what we try to do from a sports betting angle. Do we think Aaron Gordon is going to go 11 of 12 from the field every single night? Probably not. Aaron Gordon was incredible in this game, and I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm just saying that we're not going to see this each and every night. On the flip side, it was a tough night for Karl Anthony Towns. Went 5 of 18 from the field, only had 13. So we know Ant Edwards is going to get his, but they need more from their other guys not named Anthony Edwards. This is a really deep team. They had the 6th man of the year in Naz Reid. So I think that we see a better effort from Minnesota. It's just kind of weird that each team has only won the games on the road.
We We got you covered across all sports. Just download and subscribe to the Daily Tip wherever you get your podcasts. All right, Chelsea, let's pick some winners for the people.
Time to place your bets.
What do you got, Chelsea?
All right, best bet of the day for me is going to be in Major League Baseball, and we're going to go with the best team in baseball at a relatively cheap price. The Phillies today are minus 120 on the money line, facing the New York Mets. I'm going to go with the Phillies here because not only are they the better team, they also have the better statistics, especially against lefties. Sean Manaea going today. He is a left-handed pitcher. The Phillies have the 7th best batting average as a team against left-handed pitching. We all know Nick Castellanos in general crushes left-handed pitching. And if you look at the splits here, he has good ones against Sean Manaea. Meanwhile, you look at Christopher Sanchez, not a big name in the rotation, but he is more than decent. If you look at his numbers this year, a 3.22 ERA. I think the bullpen's better for the Phillies. So the best team in baseball at a minus 120 clip. Let's go Phillies on the money line.
Chelsea, I've gone back and forth on that pick, but I feel like that's a great price on the best team in baseball. So how can you not choose the Phillies there? I am going Brewers money line minus 145. This is a value play. You've got Mitch Keller going for Pittsburgh. Now, he was great last season, but that was last season. He has seen a lot of regression this year, not nearly as effective. Now he has to go up against Colin Ray, about as solid as it gets from Milwaukee. 3-0, 3.29 ERA. The Brewers are a far, far better team at the plate. They're also at home, and they have a big bullpen advantage as well. The Pirates used a lot of their relievers over the weekend, especially in that game with Paul Skeens making his debut on Saturday. Brewers money line minus 145 is the call in Milwaukee.
All right, time to bring in the third member of our Best Bets crew. That is the Magic 8 Ball.
Let us gaze upon the glorious Magic 8 Ball. Shall it fade or tail these noble betters?
All right, 8 Ball, let's roll through these because we're tight on time. Phillies money line, do we like it? Over the Mets, 8 Ball says, ask again later. Thanks, 8 Ball. Ask again later. How about now? Cannot predict now. Wow, this 8 Ball. All right, it is certain. We will take an answer.
Yay, finally.